All right, what's up? This is the first and probably the last ever official Fish Taco podcast. Um, this is sponsored by me because we're too poor to actually bribe someone to sponsor this.
We
This
probably
is
have
also
actual.
sponsored by Food ASMR. So, we probably would know our actual sponsors, but there's only three of us here. There should be four, but the one who knows about all the sponsors and stuff decided not to show up. That was really smart of him. Uh, so this will be the first podcast. We got a couple of topics just to ramble on about. You know, this 8-year-old idea that's being done in 2019. God bless.
Yeah, it only took us 8 years to get here.
Hey, I mean,
Better late than never.
it'll.
All
Yeah.
right,
So hold
so
on.
I
It
guess
is 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, fucking bother. I don't want to bother trying to convert that to military. It's 2027. Did it?
I think
So
yeah, I was gonna say I think it's
I
20.
was literally about to say because I have everything set to the military.
I just don't bother. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's introduce ourselves. Start with Zach.
All right, so I'm Zachary, also known as Postal Jeebus.
I'm Mickey or Ringadem.
And I'm Richard, also known as Beelden Yeti. Zach and I are co-founders of Team Fish Taco, and back when it was originally called something else, that I don't know if we should say.
That shall not be named.
Yeah, it shouldn't be named. But it was a different time back then. Let's just put it that way.
I've been around since TFT was pretty small.
Mm.
Uh,
Ironic that it's a mostly Jacksonville team, and not a single damn person here is from Jacksonville.
two of us aren't even in Florida. Period.
Yeah. All right, what you eating? I heard a bunch.
Uh, this is unofficially sponsored by pizza.
Ah, what
Oh,
kind
we
of
got
pizza?
pizza?
What kind of pizza?
You really don't want to know.
No, go ahead. Go
say
ahead.
it.
Go
Come
ahead.
on.
Yeah.
Richard, I'm just let. No,
Oh
you'll
wait,
be really upset
wait,
if I tell you.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Is it pineapple?
No. I like
Mm.
pineapple. I'm
Oh,
I'm the
okay,
person
good.
that defends
Oh,
pineapple.
good.
No,
hell
it's
yeah.
from a certain chain. They call their stuff pizza. It's not real pizza. It's more like maybe they threw like some cheap ass cheese on some cardboard and that. But I won't say their name because there's a chance that they may sponsor us in the future. Who knows? But
You can't get a cheaper pizza though.
you, I think you can.
You literally can't.
All right. So, Zach has a few topics that we were going to talk about today.
Some of them
Which
are kind of politically related, but I thought they were interesting enough to talk about. We really only have one's politically related. The rest are just kind of gaming and
just things that
tech
are
related.
relevant right now, really.
Yeah. So first of things first. Uh, oh yeah, the date is 310. Just in case we need to archive
March
this. That's what we
10th,
should open up.
2019. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it this day in history. Why not?
Yeah, let's open up with that.
This in history, TFT did a podcast.
TFT launched their first podcast.
First and only podcast.
The first and best podcast.
The first and best and last. All right. Time and date. What happened on March 10th? We'll go from the bottom. The first telephone call is made. Alexander Graham Bell transmitted the words, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you," to his assistant, Thomas A. Watson,
Now
who
the
was in the next
first
door room.
podcast is made.
What a day. What a day to launch the first podcast
What a day.
on the first day that the telephone was made in 1876.
Hey,
Um,
that's
I'm related to
oh,
Alexander.
and then, and then right above it, in 1945, the most destructive bombing raid in history hits Tokyo. About 100,000 Tokyo citizens died in the fires caused by the U.S. Air Force.
um
Well, that
And so that's what happened on this day. Anyway.
USA. USA.
No.
other than that, it doesn't really like have anything too important.
And in 2019, TFT had the first podcast ever.
I think there you go.
Write that down, boys.
Holy shit, this day is so conflicted. Born on this day, in 1958, Sharon Stone was born. You guys know who Sharon Stone is?
No clue.
She is the actress. I'm trying to think of some stuff she's been in that maybe you guys have seen. But do you guys know the famous leg cross scene when she's like being interviewed? She is in a movie called what's the movie called? Oh man, I don't know what the movie is called. Hold on.
I don't know shit for dick about movies, so you're really gonna lose me with this one.
Sharon Stone. Basic Instinct. Basically, she plays a serial killer, and the cops are kind of interviewing her. She is like very sexy in the movie, and she uses that to her advantage to sway people into her room, and then she kills them. Kind of like a reverse Jack the Ripper, nearly. So they're
Probably
interviewing
good,
her,
though.
and they're kind of like onto her, and she knows that, but she's like kind of swaying them, and she's wearing like a dress, and she opens her legs and reveals that she's not wearing any underwear, and you
Oh.
can see there for a second, and they're all like mesmerized, and then she crosses them again, and uses that to like, and it's a super famous scene. So anyway, she was born on
I wonder why it's so famous.
she
She got
I
her
think it was like
idea.
the first time that a vagina was shown in movies or something like that. I don't have that
Got the
correct
whole
probably, but it
pussy
was like the most famous anyway. So Sharon
Alright.
Stone was born in 1958. 1 year before that, Osama bin Laden,
No.
Saudi Arabia terrorist, founded Al Qaeda. He was
Well, it's
born.
pretty interesting we got the date for that. We know literally every single event they've ever had, but we didn't know where they were. It's pretty funny. Funny, ironic.
Yeah. And then Chuck Norris, 1940. It's Chuck Norris's birthday. So
What?
yeah.
Let's start with our topic. So first topic, Game of Thrones season 8.
Last week they released the trailer for season 8, which is the final season of Game of Thrones. And it's only going to be 6 episodes. It premieres on April 14th. And we won't go into too much detail or speculation because obviously you and Mickey don't watch the show. So you
We're
really
on an
won't
8th
understand.
season?
Yeah, they're the 8th and last.
It's more like
Everyone
half a season if it's only 6 episodes.
apparently they're going to be huge. Because last season, which was 2 years ago nearly, it took them like 2 years to make this 6 episodes. So they've been working on it for a while. It was announced right after the 6th season that there was only 13 episodes left. In season 7 they only had 7 episodes. And so that left 6 for season 8. And so everyone know. But they took a year off to film a bunch of stuff. And now it's down to the last 6. I'm excited, personally. Last season was a little disappointing. So it'll be interesting to see how they wrap it all up.
Yeah, when are they gonna be fucking done?
Well, do the math. They premiere once a week, and it premieres on April 14th.
Not
So
with season
6.
8, with everything, dude.
What do you mean with everything?
Season 8's the last
When's
Season-
Game of Thrones ending?
After season 8. Well, the last episode of season 8 is the last episode of
Cancel.
Game of Thrones.
That's what they say, but that's not true.
It's probably
Sure,
true.
there's another book, but I don't fucking know shit.
Well, no, okay, so the books, the problem with the show is that it passed the books. The dude that makes the books stopped writing them, and he's claimed that he's got 2 more to write, and he hasn't released them, and he's like 80. Everyone's worried he's gonna die before the books are released. With the Game of Thrones writer, he's had like the last book came out in 2011, so the new book, which is called The Winds of Winter, he said it's gonna come out before season 6. And it didn't. He said, "Oh, my bad. It's gonna come out before season 7." I know. Oh, sorry. It's gonna come out before the show ends. So I don't know.
You don't have much
It's
foresight there.
kind of a joke at this point that he
Gabe Newell, dude.
because he's getting older. So and he's got 2 huge books to write. I gotta believe that he's almost done with the 1 book. Like that's kind of what everyone's hoping for. Like there's no way he's like not almost done. But at the same time, who knows, really?
Uh,
But he started the first book and wrote it as a response to like the end of World of Lord of the Rings, where like he was wondering what would happen to like the land after the war and all that stuff.
Lord of the Wings.
So he developed like how the politics would work. The first few seasons of the show are excellent. Season 5 was kind of eh. I personally enjoyed season 6, but season seven's writing was, while enjoyable, like like it was good television to watch, but it didn't make a lot of sense. People that have seen it will understand what I'm talking about. So season
So
8
it's kinda
premieres.
like
What do you
So literally no one knows what you're talking about because this is a dying show.
mean?
it's kind of like it should have ended a couple seasons ago. is
It's
what
not
you're kinda
that.
saying.
Because it didn't wrap up. It has an ending in sight. See, that's the problem with like a show like The Walking Dead. They have no ending in sight, which made the show so much worse. Like The Walking Dead should have ended 4 years ago.
Well,
But
yeah, that's a very important note for when you're telling a story. Is usually it's very important for either the reader, the watcher, or the actual character themselves to know what their endpoint is, because even if
mhm.
you want to make a show last for 20 years, 40 years, whatever, it's still important to know that there is an end in sight. Like there's some old like comic books about some detective kid, and no matter what, like there's always going to be a new detective case, right? As long as you can bullshit some story
Mhm.
or read
Yeah.
fucking news, but the character still has the knowledge that his end goal is to be a detective until he dies and solve all the cases. So it really is bad when you create a show and you throw The Walking Dead in there and say, all right, your end goal is to survive. Well, I mean, is that it? You just want to live? Because surviving is one thing. Surviving for a certain amount of time is something else. You know, if they want to only live 50 years, that's a bigger goal than just living in general.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Walking Dead. I watched the first episode, nearly shit my pants, and never continued. Now I must add, it has been several years since I watched the first episode, but I watched it and I was like, I had to have my back against the wall. Ugh.
The first episode premiered and on Halloween in 2010, and it was good. The first season was excellent.
I watched it.
Mainly,
Really? Bridget
yeah,
was there when
Sophomore
I
year of
watched the
high
first
school,
episode.
maybe. A while ago.
yeah. I was a freshman in high school, I believe. No, that's a lie. I was in
I
8th
didn't
grade.
watch it when it first came out. I watched it a couple years later.
See, I watched it
So
on
I
premiere
was
night.
a freshman or sophomore.
I saw
Yeah,
a commercial
you were
for it
there
the
when
day
I watched it
before.
the first time, Richard.
I think so, yeah. But the first
I
season,
didn't do it.
I
The-
watched it in a hotel room when it was black and white and said, "What the fuck is this?"
oh, okay. That I remember. That was at RTX, wasn't it?
I was at RTX.
They had this like marketing like The Walking Dead, but this time it's in black and white. Like what? Like who cares? It was the
I
whole
certainly did.
marketing thing. It was like, come watch The Walking Dead in black and white. Like what? What?
The worst part is there was like a lot of scenes that it was very important to have color in there, and it was just fucking
Probably.
awful. It was I was so mad.
It's like when
About
people
that
talk
whole
about
show.
the 80s and they have photos that are in black and white. It's like, wait
I mean,
a
we have
minute.
coloring software now. We can fucking
Yeah, they have like World War II in
add
color and
colors, black
stuff.
and white.
Well, even then they had color.
Oh, you mean like making movies black and white and shit like that in the 80s? It didn't happen like some movies fit black and white. Like movies like, have you guys seen To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah, I love that. book.
Yeah, the book is great and the movie is great.
Under a rock.
Oh, I did watch that movie.
I've
It's
seen
a-
it probably like
it's like a
10
it's a
times.
very important book you're supposed to read in the South, because it's
Yeah.
more important to people of the South.
I'm not from the
Basically,
South,
the
but-
premise of the book is, the main character
She's
It's just
a
a young person,
yeah.
and their dad is as a attorney or a lawyer,
He's
one of the two.
I mean
And
attorney, I think.
I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer, but he might be a defense attorney. Anyways, so the character is very young, so she's has a very simplistic view on the world. Some guy, a black man, is arrested for allegedly killing some
No, not
white
killing,
lady.
rape. It
Was it
wasn't.
rape? I thought it was. I thought he killed her too.
Oh.
No, it was. He was arrested because he raped this woman, which he didn't.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
But
whatever. But the
Oh.
point is, it's a very old time too, so everyone's like, all right, a black guy did something wrong, immediately arrest him, blah blah blah. And since her father was appointed to defend him because
it put
the
them
law
kind
states
of.
everyone gets an attorney,
Oh.
so everyone is mad at her father because they're like, you're defending him, and they're like, or if you can just drop this by just saying fuck him and just say letting it go. And the point of the thing is the main character is confused because she's like, he's just another person, why is everyone
It's hard for
so
her to
against it?
understand. Yeah.
And her dad's like, I don't care who it is.
It's a really good book, and the movie is so good too. Maybe we'll watch it when we have a movie night or something.
The movie does a lot more justice to her father Atticus's actual defense scenes because
Yeah, because
he actually whoever the actor is probably actually
Gregory Peck.
attorney.
He's amazing. No, he's not an actual attorney, but
well he probably got lines from one then because he sounded really
yeah, he was amazing
official.
in that movie.
But
He-
yeah, I love those kind of movies.
Yeah, but
Ever watch 12 Angry Men?
I actually haven't seen that movie. I've heard it was
Is it 12 or 10?
no,
It's
it's
really good
12.
too.
It's 12.
But that was a long time to talk about just Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we've heard from Game of Thrones to Walking Dead
Makes
to
me
a bunch
that
of
makes me
stuff.
think of the one clip we have, the guy whose name was Walking Dead in Overwatch. And Richard goes, Walking Dead sucks! And then that guy starts choking.
I remember that. That was funny. Yeah.
Walking Dead's still making comics, aren't they?
Yeah, they still make comics.
my
They show no
God.
time of ending. But I mean, you
Oh
could.
my God.
That's one thing. But you have like comics like Batman, Superman that are still going on. So that's kind of what the creator is going for.
Yeah, but Batman and Superman are good.
The comics are good. I've read them. I mean, I used to read them, but
The comics look better than the show.
yeah, the show has the mistake of being with AMC, which is a cable network. They actually did go to HBO, but HBO was like, y'all are way too violent, and then they signed Game of Thrones a year later. So I don't know what was going on there.
Thinking.
Yeah,
Dude, it took a year for them to realize that's what people.
yeah.
I know
Not
enough
like
about
the
Game
US
of Thrones to know that's weird.
So
anyway,
topic,
yeah, what do you have for next, Zach?
kind of fucky. It's a topic about anti-vaccination.
Okay.
Oh,
And,
fuck.
There was a man in Wisconsin who was under quarantine because he had the measles. 'Cause he didn't anti-vax, and he broke the quarantine to go to the gym to work out, and he was criminally charged because of this. So that's pretty interesting because there's been a couple of laws being passed of trying to reforce people to get vaccinations.
Oh,
So
the kid that spent, what was it, 2 months in hospital because he got tetanus.
yeah, that's right. I read about that one too.
Yeah, and then his parents were like, they denied getting his second round after he was discharged.
No, they didn't even want him to get the first, and
Yeah.
he was already in the hospital, and they were like, you could still save his life, and after 59 days, he died.
He didn't die.
I'm pretty sure he died.
No, he didn't.
There was another case of some kid who.
Okay.
Are you,
one
you
I
may
know-
be thinking of.
Yeah.
You remember when Ebola was a thing?
Fuck's sake.
That's one thing that people are complaining about is, if you thought Ebola was bad, then all those diseases that we've been immune to are suddenly going to come back with just bigger vengeance, because
Yeah.
Ebola doesn't mean a lot to the bubonic plague.
It's just, I think anti-vax, that's so stupid because their main argument is, I don't want my child to have autism. And I'm like,
Well, that's not their main argument. That's some people's
well,
argument.
that's
Their
a
main
lot of the
argument.
Yeah.
arguments I
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Most of them stray away from that because it's kind of whatever. The main thing is they think that what is in there is actually poisonous, or the government can control you with it because
Oh,
whatever.
that's even
So like a lot of it comes down to they think that since they don't know what's in it, because a lot of it's fancy
yeah.
medical names. Like I don't know what the fuck a lot of the vaccines medical things are, but since they don't know what those things are, and that it's supported by
Oh,
pharmaceuticals, which is a very big corporation,
right.
and big pharma bad, that there's no reason that we can't treat everything wrong with us naturally.
Oh, it's like the FBI man watching you through your webcam, but a lot worse.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
it gained a lot of traction after some guy, I can't remember who it is, and I'm not gonna look it up. He made a fake post. It was confirmed fake about how he used to work for Big Pharma. Then he quit
Oh.
because they put poisons in their vaccines, and then he was selling his own not poison vaccine,
Ow.
saying that he doesn't need it.
That's
That blah blah
right.
blah. And then the pharmaceuticals companies found him, and he stole a lot of proprietary data from them and some other shit, and got in big trouble. So it further alluded to the fact that Big Pharma and he even came out and said, yeah, that was all a lie just to get people to buy my vaccine, my vaccination.
Who was
Uh,
the guy that he bought the rights to some vaccine and then sold it for a whole lot more than it was originally?
yeah,
I can't remember.
that happens a lot. That's the caveat with
Yeah.
a corporation buying a cure to a drug, because sometimes you get it so that they sell miracle water
Yeah.
for cents on the dollar, and sometimes they sell the only cure for your disease for $10,000 a year.
Yeah. It was a
But
couple years ago.
hey, capitalism is a give and take. But
Capitalism.
the whole thing about it is, the only reason I actually want to talk about it is because it's actually, like, in my opinion, a lot more complicated than that. Because we all have our right to do whatever the fuck we want,
Yeah.
and it's personally, I've always been, as long as you don't hurt someone else, literally do whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
You want to cut off your own dick, power to you. As long as I don't have to see it,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like, do you think that people should be allowed to just say, fuck it, I don't want to put random shit in my body if I don't know what it does or what's in it?
I don't care if other people do it to themselves. It's the people that put their children through it.
Well, yeah, see, that's the point is,
Yeah.
almost every single person who's anti-vax now is almost guaranteed vaccinated.
It's
Yeah.
almost what?
Guaranteed vaccinated. People
yeah.
who do not have vaccinations tend to not live as long. And it's kind of
thinking.
it's kind of interesting because it's also, it used to be a law. You used to be required to
What
go,
happened to that
because I don't
law?
know about you, but in Florida it is a law that children age 5 or 6 need to attend. It's either preschool or first grade. I think it's first grade. And when you go to first grade, they require you to show them your measles papers, your lumps, and whatever
yeah.
else. And so, I believe they removed that.
They
say
removed
you
it?
don't- I think you don't have to show your vaccination papers to go to public school anymore.
I remember when...
Because,
Oh, that's the fat yikes.
well, I mean, it's kind of you're forcing people to get this medicated treatment, which is, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also not great.
Yeah, some
It's
people
actually
could take that wrong. You know what I mean? Like, if
well,
anything,
yeah,
if people could
being
see
told
it.
you have to do something is always wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like when it concerns your health, you need to be a little you need to have some knowledge when it comes to making a decision. Like that.
100%. That's actually the reason that rabies isn't as prominent in the United States, believe it or not, because the United States has a very aggressive anti-rabies treatment. If you ever get bit by an animal, doesn't matter what animal, and you call and
Oh,
go to
I've
the
been
hospital,
through it.
they will force you to get like 3 months of rabies treatments.
You've been through it, Mickey? Tell us about it.
Yeah. So the animal we did not know. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. I foster kittens for the animal shelter, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a mama cat with a couple babies. She had been feral, but so far she had been showing, she was nice. So we had our couple days, and I was in the room with her, and this noise outside startles her, and I go to slowly move away from her, and she jumps on me and latches onto my arm, and she's not letting go. And so I'm screaming, and she lets go, and then she attacks my leg, and she attacked my side too. But
When was this?
I went to the. This was a few summers ago.
Back
I
in
was
'69.
still at my job. I think I was a sophomore in college. But so I went to the ER, and they had to shoot the immunoglobulin,
Globin?
you know,
The
yeah,
hemoglobin?
No, the immunoglobin.
Immunoglobin.
yeah.
Oh.
They had to shoot that around the injection like a dozen times, or the area.
Should be 7.
It was about a dozen because of how big the bite was.
Oh.
It was big. She bit, and then her teeth dragged down my arm.
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad. I still have
Oh.
a couple small scars from it. And it's
But there's
painful.
It would have been a
So-
lot worse if you had rabies, though.
Right. And the reason why I got this treatment is because we didn't know if she had her vaccinations.
I mean,
So
even
it
if
was a
she,
precaution.
yeah, because you can be a carrier for rabies for up
Yep.
to a year without
Yep.
showing any symptoms.
Yep.
And when you
Yeah.
do show symptoms, you're doomed. There's no cure once you start showing symptoms.
Wait, really?
I got a
Yup.
dozen around the bite on my arm, and then about a dozen around the bite on my thigh, and I had this real nasty bruise on my arm for about a month. It was a very painful experience getting the treatment for it, but I only had to do it once.
Really, usually they force you to come back, like, to get boosters
No.
once a month.
No, I didn't have to after that. I can't remember why, but it was like once they did that because they controlled the area with it. So, and then I never had any response, and it's been several years. So,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, that's good.
yeah.
But yeah, rabies is very scary. But because the United States knows of the dangers of it, they're very aggressive when they treat it. And you don't really have a choice for the most part. When you go there and you're like, I've been bit, they go, all right, we're putting you in for the rabies
Yeah,
vaccination.
we had to fill out a bunch of paperwork to report it.
Yeah, and it's very, very serious because rabies is a very serious problem. And like, a lot of it's harder for me to talk about the people who anti-vaxxers views because I really never had that kind of view of I don't trust these people. They're trying to kill me. I'm a decently paranoid person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I figure if the government's trying to kill me, they're gonna fucking do it.
Right. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's an
Hit me
interesting
with
topic.
your best shot, dude.
They
Yeah.
have the power.
But it's just very interesting because it's like I can understand that. I can understand not wanting to put a bunch of shit you've never heard of inside of you. Because like if I don't even take medication for this part because it's just fucky. But
Oh, I
Yeah.
can definitely agree with that. I'm on a lot of medication, but but no, what I'm saying it's very, but there's just some things you have to. We tried everything else, but I definitely understand people who are like, I don't believe in medication, or they don't trust it. I go, that's fine.
that's fucking understandable though.
Yeah,
And
I
it-
totally get it.
But that's where my point comes in is I don't care what you do in your own free time, in your own home with
Not hurting
yourself,
anyone
whatever.
else. Yeah.
You fucking You have sex with your car, cool. Keep it in the garage.
Ah!
Whatever,
See,
right?
I hate it because there's actually. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Never mind.
Mhm.
And the point though, where it's like, is this really a problem? Is because it's usually not to themselves. It's usually, my kid is not going to get this. My kid is not going to receive any of these and these and these. And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, it is your responsibility to raise your kid. And there's definitely some people who do worse things to kids.
Very true.
But does that make it right? Or does that make it okay? Mm.
Mm,
I don't know.
very
Alright.
finicky when you think about it.
Here's
Yeah.
a real question though. Do you think any of them took like the medication when they were giving birth or no?
Um, I know some
Because that's
people that don't do the
Yeah.
epidural
I know
even
that
without
too,
being
but
like anti-vax. You know.
but do you think most anti-vax moms don't do it because that's random drugs getting shoved in them, or
They probably didn't.
I
Probably
get.
did whatever.
I would think
you
that
know.
because I know that some people change their mind because they're like, holy shit, you know.
I know some people that have been set on not.
But then they
You
do.
know. Well, it's some they do, and then some they don't. Like
Hmm.
period.
That's gotta hurt.
Seriously.
All right. What else do we have to talk about, Zach? Because we're.
so there's a new Xbox One S console coming out, and everyone's like, what the fuck ever, who the fuck cares? But
S.
this one is entirely digital. No disc tray.
Oh,
There's no disc reader or anything. All of its stuff is digital. And I thought that was really
that's ballsy.
interesting. I mean, I can kind of understand to try to push away from discs. Most people buy games
Online. Yeah.
digitally now
Yeah.
because, especially with shit like Steam and the
Yeah.
marketplaces, why would you bother? Especially with a lot of GameStop stores downsizing their physical
Yeah.
locations because it's more worthwhile to keep their online business running. I just thought it was kind of interesting because you're kind of forcing a new problem on the computer on the hardware. Because removing a disk tray is a lot of extra space that you can leave. You can make a very slim comp without a disk tray. You can also fill that space with something else. But
Yeah.
what do you guys think?
Well, personally, I can understand why like they took it away, like you said, because most people do it digitally nowadays anyway, especially with like Steam getting much more popular and you hear about a lot more people owning a PC that can run games and stuff like that. But I see it does hurt in some ways, like companies like GameStop. Holy, like, how much longer will they be in business if everything goes digital?
You mean Blockbuster number two?
Exactly.
Also, Mickey, you were right. The kid didn't die. He almost died.
Yeah. He almost died.
Every headline says nearly, and I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's okay.
But yeah, no. The problem to me comes is not necessarily it's gonna fucking ruin GameFly. That's gonna die, but
Ah!
and then GameStop and whatever. But it's gonna be more of if. So I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, I had quite a bit of Xbox games. I actually still have like
Yeah,
fucking
I
40
still have a
Xbox games.
ton of Xbox games.
Well, each game nowadays is like 40 gigs min. So they're gonna have to sell all of their. They're gonna have to make a lot of sales on just their hard drives. Like, is this thing gonna come with a standard terabyte hard drive? Because that's like
I feel like it has to
nothing.
because the default one that comes with like 500 gig, I believe, which nowadays you can fit maybe 7 games on that thing. Like
Well,
7
7
big
games with all
games.
DLC.
Yeah.
With all DLC.
You look at games like Red Dead 2, which its base game was like 102 gigabytes. And then you have games like nowadays people are making games they're huge. They require so much memory. And
So are they? You
500
think they're
gigabytes is nowhere near enough.
I really like collecting albums of things that I am a huge fan of.
shit? That's right. I forgot about that. Vinyls.
But
They still do make vinyls.
They do
Yes,
still make vinyls.
They do.
Yes.
I really like collecting physical things of like
I do too.
music that I really like. Um, but I don't see the same thing as movies. Like I'm just like, oh, I'll just stream it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the whole point of a movie is just to fucking or buying a
Yeah.
movie is just to actually say you have it.
Yeah. Um,
If you watch it, you open fucking Netflix or something like.
with
God damn you.
console, it's like if that corrupts, you're screwed. You know?
Not really. You just re-download, which
It'll
you know
save
is
to
more
your
of a hassle
account.
and annoying.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, it
Well,
won't.
purchase it.
Okay.
Your purchase. I mean, you would have to buy another console, but as long as you
No,
log
what?
into your account on the console.
Wait, what do you mean you have to buy another console?
If your console corrupts and it's dead, you have to buy another one.
Then it's the same thing as what happens if your console corrupts with a disc tray. The lack of a disc tray doesn't make it more likely to corrupt.
Yeah. No, we're not saying that. But
I'm
Mickey,
pretty sure
Mickey
Mickey was
did.
talking about the game itself.
Talking about the console.
Okay.
Got him.
But that's
Yeah.
another important point though is fucking game boxes. Like Destiny, fuck Destiny, hated that game. But their box art, that was probably the
Okay,
best box
I
art
will say this:
I've
box art.
ever fucking seen.
If
Box art
everything
is-
goes discless, I will miss box art because box art really brings you into
So many other people will too. Not only that, but like pre-orders. Pre-orders kind of relies on the fact that you get a disc.
not necessarily.
Kind of. I mean, the point of the pre-order is to make it look beautiful. And you usually, when you pre-order, you get a better box.
Okay, well yeah, if you buy like a super edition.
It's all part of
True.
no. Just a standard pre-order for Destiny. I got the metal case for it. And some other Gucci shit, but then I paid extra for that shit. That's the only reason I'm upset with Destiny.
It's because they took my money and ran.
Bungie, if you're watching this, why'd you turn down my job application?
It's like if you get hired at
Probably
Bungie, Bungie can sponsor Team Fish Taco. Think about it.
Yeah, alright.
Just
Let's
future
move on to
goals.
the next topic, I guess. The game list for March.
For
Of
March,
what games are coming? Yeah, March has a shit ton of games coming out, so I'll just list the games for March.
you want to send me a
Uh,
link? Do you have like a link for it so I can see?
I
'em?
do, but I don't want to send it to you. Anyways,
Oh.
we- first and foremost, we got Awesome P. Awesome P sounds terrible. Dawn of Man, Creepy Road, DOA 6. Alright, fine, I hear you fucking click clacking now. Black Desert's coming out for Xbox One. That sounds pretty interesting.
Black
I'm pretty-
Desert. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I'm pretty sure that's a free-to-play Steam game. That's it's just an MMO shooter. I think it's an MMO shooter.
The Black Desert Online is a sandbox-oriented, massively multiplayer online role-playing game by Korean video game developer Pearl Abyss. The game has been in development since 2010 and entered closed beta testing in 2013. I guess this is just their console port.
Yeah, this is just their console upload. That's
Okay,
fine.
well, whatever.
So, ooh, a new baseball game's coming out. RBI Baseball 19. That's another dead game. That's pretty cool. Let's see. The Legend of Heroes. That sounds pretty fucking cool. And then we got the best shit ever, which comes out in 2 days. Lego Marvel Collection.
Not on PC, I see.
No Lego games really come out for PC. But
Well,
Lego
I want them.
Lego games are fucking amazing. Like that shit's always been
Lego games. Okay,
fucking this. It's been the same quality for years.
There's
And
such a
when it came
basic-
out, it was fucking garbage. And as it gets older, it's just amazing, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like Tetris. Everyone
Yeah.
played Tetris on their phone, but it was like, I wish I could be playing fucking Flappy Birds. Now it's 2017. Tetris Battle Royale is hitting millions because everyone's like, "Oh, I fucking love Tetris!" Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's exciting, dude. We got One Piece World Secret. Speaking of Oda, that game's gonna probably flop. It's gonna be so ridden with bugs. All those anime games are so ridden with bugs. It's insane how they pass any standard of stylized check or style of standardized checking.
All right. Let's let's talk about the Division 2 for a second. March 15th. So the first one had a lot of hype behind it for some reason. I never really understood that. Like all the hype behind the first Division, and then when it came out everyone was like, "Wow, this game is bad." I'm
I'm just
surprised
gonna point that out.
I'm surprised they made a second one, if I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm surprised they just go like chalk it up to it's another Tom Clancy game. Blah blah blah. Let's just make a different one. But they're continuing with the. Of course,
The Watch Dogs did the exact same as the Division. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm still saying that people saw the fucking hype for Watch Dogs and translated that shit straight to the Division because they got the same reviews from the same people. That literally IGN gave them like 1% higher, and that's it. Steam gave it a 6 out of 10. Google reviewers users gave it a 95, whatever, and then it just fucking doesn't work. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's interesting to see what that one will look like when it comes out. I don't expect too much from it, but could be wrong.
I don't even expect it to work.
All right. What else we got?
We got 2 American Ninja Warrior.
2.
What?
2.
I just see 1.
Scroll down to the bottom. There should be another one. Unless that was 1, and then I scrolled my mouse. Who fucking knows, dude? Let's
I
type in
only see
Ninja.
one.
Oh, I see it at the bottom.
Oh wait,
American
there
Ninja.
are 2.
Hell yeah! I knew I wasn't going.
There's American Ninja Warrior and then American Ninja Warrior Challenge.
Maybe Challenge
Yeah.
is like a
Comes out the
spin-off.
19th.
The
Challenge
s-
comes
the
out
spin-off
19th,
comes
but the other one comes
first.
out the 31st.
I don't know,
Yeah.
dude.
So-
I don't know.
I don't either. But what I'm looking forward to is Shadows Die Twice.
Yes, yeah, Shadows Die Twice is gonna be really fun. Probably. I don't know. I feel like it's hard
They
to pull
have-
off a game like this, but it looks like it could. It has the potential to really make something of itself.
So I will say I'm losing a lot of hope for Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, because they have an amazing developer and the actual worst publisher known to man.
Okay, hit us with it.
From Software is the developer.
Okay,
Fucking-
yeah,
I do love From Software. From Software has made some very
Some
very
tops.
good games.
yeah, top tier.
Fucking Nebula was a good series. Armored Core was a good series. Dark Souls was questionable. It was very good in the beginning, questionable in the middle, very good at the end. You know, he had
Yeah,
a very strong point. It really also depended on the developer because he said he never wanted to make a second game, and they did with it anyways. So
That's
he felt
true.
bad for everyone and made a third
Yeah.
one. They did make Bloodborne as well, so you know they have a lot of good rapport on their side. But the publisher being Activision
Oh God.
really makes me
Uh-oh.
think that online's not going to work first day. If there is any online, there probably is.
There won't be
But
any.
if there-
There won't be any microtransactions at launch. At launch, once all the reviews are in and all that bullshit, then everyone's like, "Oh, this game is good," and then they'll be like, the next update 2 weeks later, "Oh, forgot to slip this one in, boys."
yeah,
That's what they've done with like the last
Yep.
4 Call of Duties, and EA learned to do it before they decided, oh, people don't care about microtransactions, so we'll put it in the game, and then that's when the Star Wars shit happened. But they did it with the Battlefield 1, I'm pretty sure. That there wasn't any microtransactions in that game when it launched, and everyone was like, holy shit, EA didn't put microtransactions in? And then boom, they did it quietly. I guarantee you that's going to happen with this. There's no way Activision publishes a game that does not have microtransactions in it.
yeah. The story's going to end what seems abruptly, and then suddenly all those fucking whatever the fuck they're called, microtransactions are going to come out.
Yeah, be it like cosmetic or loot box or whatever. Because right now they're
There's
still
probably-
adding different variations of microtransactions to the last Call of Duty. That came out
There's probably not gonna
4 or
be
5
any
months
loot-
ago.
The only thing I can see is they're gonna do something like CS:GO skins. Like that's the only thing I can see. I really don't see any form of loot box really working out. Just kind of like I don't know if you guys played Assassin's Creed 2, but like some things you could do in Assassin's Creed 2, where if you did certain like quests, such as getting all the collectibles, you could change what outfit Ezio wears. And I think they're just gonna do shit like that. But instead of collectibles and quests, it's gonna be $40 for the cool golden armor that you run around in.
Yeah, what a world we live in. All right, I'm not gonna buy the game when it comes out. I'm just gonna see what it happens because it has potential to be great, but it also has potential to be like, you know what I mean?
Dog shit. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
not gonna buy the game when it comes out because I'm poor as shit. So
All
True.
right, moving on down. The
That'll be too
Walking
much.
Dead: The Final Season. Have you guys seen any of the Walking Dead games, the Telltale games?
I've seen the games.
yeah, I watch a lot of streams, and the stream I've watched recently is waiting for that to finally happen. So
That's interesting because okay, so the first season of the Telltale games, Walking Dead, was insane, unbelievable. I mean, everyone pretty much regards it as like Telltale's big hit, and it was huge. Like everyone
I love
loves it.
Telltale.
Well, until Telltale never really quite hit that high again after that first season. They made a couple of other things like The Wolf Among Us and stuff like that, and then they made The Walking Dead season 2, and was like, holy shit, it's good again. Some people was like,
how'd they
oh,
do
it's
it?
not quite as good, but it's good. And then they made a whole bunch of shit between the second and third season where their quality kind of went down and they were using the same shitty engine. And then the third season for The Walking Dead came out and they're like, what the fuck is this? It was awful. And so now this season was marketed as the big final season, the end for, the end of Clementine's story. But they got shut down right before they released the second episode for this final season. And every single one of their projects was canceled. They had like a Game of Thrones second season that they were going to do. They had a Wolf Among Us. Like everything got canceled because they just couldn't. It was super controversial last year when this happened. But the Skybound, which makes the Walking Dead comics, took over and said, all right, well, we're not going to let this one just go unanswered. We'll pick it up and finish out what was happening. What's the ending for Clementine and whatever. So I thought that's pretty cool that they did that, but I haven't actually followed the final season of The Walking Dead just simply because I don't know, I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I especially wasn't going to do it when I found out that they got canceled and they weren't planning on releasing the end, but Skybound came out and said, yeah, we're going to do it anyway. So, but Telltale's gone. They shut. Did you know that they shut down?
Yeah, I knew that. I still like them. Also, there's a Chocobo game coming out, and that's rather interesting because I feel like if there really was going to be a Chocobo game, it would only really be Japan. But here we are, Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, everybody. Everybody, I'm sorry.
Every space buddy. Yeah.
And then we have a remastered Assassin's Creed 3. Everyone's a favorite Assassin's Creed.
Literally, I
It's the
can't
worst
express-
one.
I
It's
cannot
the worst one.
how much I hate Assassin's Creed 3. Like I've literally seldom bought the Assassin's Creed 1 when it came out with the Xbox. And I went over and played it at his house. I don't know, fucking like feels like 60 years ago. And I played it at his house and I was like, "Holy shit. This black and white game is so fun. Sometimes you get to see brown." And like it was it was actually really fun at the time. I didn't give a shit about the story. And then Assassin's Creed 2 came out and I was like, "Hey, it's me, Ezio." Played all those and then I was like, "Oh my god. Like this game series is really great." Of course Uplay kept popping up in my face every 5 seconds while I was playing.
Hey,
but,
look
like,
at this.
Yeah, but like it was during the Xbox. And
Yeah.
I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2. I was really used to just zoning out parts of my screen. And like it just kept going And then Assassin's Creed 3 came out, and I got that for Christmas. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so ready. And it starts off so weird, and you're like, it'll pick up. And then like
Doesn't.
none of the missions work, and you're like, they'll be fun later. And then you do 6 trailing missions in a row, and you're like, wow, that was the first game I never completed.
Really?
That I like almost every time I ever, because I was used to playing the PS2, and
I-
PS2 when you get a game, that's the game you play for 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the first time I grabbed the game. Was like, what the fuck, and left it halfway
Threw
through.
it
I
away.
still haven't finished it. I don't plan on going back.
I
to
feel
it.
like
And then
Assassin's
4
Creed.
came out, and that was
Yeah,
great.
okay. I was gonna say. I feel like Assassin's Creed, the franchise, would have died if the next game, Black Flag, didn't be amazing like it was. Because I love Black. A lot of people don't like it. I fucking love that game. The fucking
We
pirate
say that, but then they
chants.
re-released Black Flag with what is it, Rogue? And
I
then they
don't know,
released
but-
3 more shitty games.
Apparently, people like the one that came out last year. It turned into a
I loved Odyssey.
An
Odyssey was really good.
an RPG, which
Mhm.
I found interesting. I haven't played it since Black Flag though, so I don't have like the knowledge. I just know that
What
they.
annoyed me is everyone complained it doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed, and it's like, that's fine. It's a new game. It's its own feel. Just it doesn't have to. If you want a game to play exactly the same as your past games, you're really kind of striving for possible. You're striving for a company to not improve. You
Yeah.
know, when I play fucking Halo, I don't expect it to feel exactly like Halo 1, where it's very kind of clunky, and I feel like a fucking monster at all times. Like Halo 2 or Halo 3 compared to Halo 1 doesn't feel like Halo anymore, but it still is. It's just improved. It's
Yeah.
just they kind of made a lot of jumps at once,
Reach
and then they
especially.
threw in a shit ton of microtransactions.
Wait, in
God,
Halo?
that game's littered. No.
Oh!
In
In
Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
Oh, okay. Since-
there's so many microtransactions. Game.
Well, that's
I'll
the
tell
way
you
of the
what.
future, gents.
Remind me next time I will open the game. I'll fucking show you the pause screen, like the character customization screen. There's There's literally a button to take you to the microtransactions, and you hit it on accident because it's like the back button. It's
Nice.
so funny.
Rockstar's
so
done that now
sad, but-
too. They're like, oh, you can play Red Dead Online, and then you can play Red Dead Online Racing, and then you can play Red Dead Online Shootout, and then here's a store to buy microtransactions. It's
Well,
it's
see,
like the fourth or third option.
Red Dead did that, but they only did that because they made GTA 5, and then they made 10 times as much money from shark cards than they did from
Yeah.
people buying the game. And they're like, what the fuck have we been doing if this is all people want? You know?
Yeah.
People
I don't want to
just
get
want edge.
into Red Dead right now. that's
Yeah,
I could go on and on and on about Red Dead. So
yeah,
let's
that could
just-
be a podcast in and of
in,
itself.
in its own, yeah. I say we close this one out. Is there any sort of last things y'all want to talk about?
For this series to continue, we have to actually have for our podcast, dude.
We actually have to have what?
We have to have a name. You know, there's the internet box.
I was just call it the
Bruce
TFT podcast right now, but we'll talk
How
about
about
that
the TP?
next
Sorry.
meeting.
How about the TPT? The Team Podcast Taco.
God.
Anyways,
All right.
You guys don't like that name?
Not really.
That's such a fucking
it's
good name.
great, honey.
You guys suck.
All right. Y'all be safe out there, and have fun.